Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel Say What's Real TV. This review is for Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 7, Episode 3, Grand Openings and Closings. So we open up the episode over at the law firm and it is in a complete total mess. It's chaotic. Everyone is running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Fatima is frantically looking for Andy, calling her on the phone. She's not getting any answer. So then here comes Andy, all clueless, what's going on? And basically she been over there hunching up on Jordan. And Fatima called her out like, I could tell what you've been doing by looking at your hair and how you're walking. So apparently Jordan over there beating the brakes off of her because she walking like a stallion, like a little cowgirl. But child, anyway. So she tells her that Gary is the issue and why everybody is swarming around like bees, because whatever business dealings he has with this law firm are in jeopardy now because the money he may have used is illegal. And Fatima tells her from what she can tell from eavesdropping, allegedly Gary has been embezzling funds. So absent-minded Andy over there talking about Gary is this astute businessman. Like, first of all, Andy, why are you taking up for Gary? I mean, did he not have you fooled for months with a whole pregnant fiance he was hiding from you? So what make you think he cannot be capable of what they're accusing him of? Like, girl, stop the foolishness. So then she is getting worried and scared because she wants to know will she be fine because she hasn't been messing with him for months. So Fatima was like, girl, he's not astute. He's a high-level scammer. Facts. And she asked Andy, is the penthouse and car in Gary's name? And she's stumbling all over her words like, oh no, like it's in my name. But Fatima had to educate her, which I don't understand why, because Andy is a lawyer, should know all of this stuff already. Fatima tells her if they find out that Gary's funny money paid for that stuff, she will be looked into and investigated as well. So Hayden, he walks up on the conversation and puts his arms all around the ladies. And of course, they're repulsed and tells him that he done lost his mind. And I am still wondering, how did Hayden get to this point to where he doesn't feel all that hate and revenge that he wanted just 3 months ago for Fatima? I'm confused at that, but I guess we'll keep it moving. So he told them that he comes in peace, that he spoke with the FBI already at his house about Gary and their dealings, and that everything they had going on was legit. So he's looking at Andy like, what about you? Can you say the same thing? So he lets her know that basically she is an easy target and can be thrown under the bus. But, you know, they're on the same side. So if she wants to come in agreement, when he talks to the partners, he won't mention her name if she doesn't mention his name. And Andy, she kind of agrees to it. And I'm like, girl, I wouldn't trust Hayden as far as I could throw him. No, ma'am. So we go over there to Danny's house and we get a rare sighting of her cleaning up the place. And Tony is in the bed as usual. And again, I'm tired of that. But he gets up asking her, like, why is she cleaning up? And she says that she texted the therapist and the therapist was able to fit her in the schedule and was on her way over there. So Danny seemed a little bit apprehensive about meeting the lady and didn't want to be judged. So Tony had to reassure her that, you know, it's really not like that. Just try to have an open mindset and stay positive. So Danny started asking him to help her clean up. And if he wasn't going to do that, he can let her be in peace. And basically it was like say less for Tony because he started putting his clothes on, all the while encouraging her to at least try with this therapy session because when he called her later on, he wanted good news. So then he asked Danny to text Karen and tell her that he said congratulations on her new salon. And he slightly and politely eased out the door without even putting his shoes on. Now, Danny's standing up there like, oh, you really not going to help me? Because if this was Preston would have already been up at the crack of dawn, went to the grocery store, put groceries in there, cooked breakfast, and cleaned up the breakfast dishes by now with candles lit and burning with the house smelling good. And side note, Danny, why are you not at work? Why everybody at work but you? But anyway, I guess Tony reminded Danny about Karen's grand opening. So Danny decided that she didn't want to do it. So she's trying to call the therapist, but then she's knocking on the door. So Danny, she lets her in. They greet each other. They sit down. And I guess in the middle of the session, Creature has to call her out because basically Danny is in there deflecting by answering all of Creature's questions with a question and that she can just relax. So she asked her what made her seek out the therapy, and she told her mimosas and said that it was her boyfriend and her friends. And notice how Danny is actually claiming Tony. It's her boyfriend. She's actually putting a title on it. Interesting. Creature told her, look, you have to want to heal. You have to want to be here. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time and your money. Danny really didn't give a damn. She's shrugging her shoulders like, well, yeah, I guess that's just what it is because I don't think this is for me. So she then asked Danny how close she was to her friends. Danny told her they were like family. They were like sisters. So Creature was like, well, if they suggested therapy for you, maybe they can see things that you can't see and possibly just want the best for you. But you have to want the best for yourself. And Danny was taking heed a little bit. And she said, look, you got my number. Call me whenever you're ready, even if it's just to talk. And Danny was very appreciative of that. Although Danny wasn't willing to really participate in this first session, I think she really built a little rapport with Creature. She liked her. And I think something will draw her to call her again for whatever reason. So we go to the salon and Karen and Pam are over there preparing for the grand opening. Pam is online trying to advertise the business and Karen is trying to make sure everything was taken care of properly so everything can be ready. She actually thanks Pam for all of her help and wondered where her friends were when the lights go out. So this lady walks in. She introduces herself as the building owner. Her name is Shauna Richardson. Now, we don't know what happened with the whole Brian situation and Karen actually purchasing this property. Maybe she's leasing with the option to buy. We don't know. They didn't tell us. We got this 3-month time jump and it is what it is. We moving on, I guess. Karen asked, does she have any idea why the lights may be off? Because she's trying to call maintenance. And Shauna was like, yeah, because of insufficient funds and that her automatic payment for her lease didn't go through. So Karen basically was trying to tell her she got a lot going on. She got the grand opening. She trying not to pee on herself. She'll run her money tomorrow. And Shauna told her, unless you want to do the grand opening in the dark, I needs my money today. So Karen told her she'll get her money. So Shauna, she looked around talking about fresh start. That's cute. Being all snobby and low-key shady, if you ask me. So Pam, she wasn't feeling Shauna either, so she asked Karen, was she okay? And Karen was like, she was fine, but she was checking the business account and said that there should have been enough money there. So she transferred some money from her personal account into the business account to cover the amount of the payment. So she makes the comment that this is one more thing that she has to do by herself. And last week, she made a comment to Sabrina about she doesn't have the luxury of having someone else help her pay a loan off. So it's like, I'm not sure if it's just the financial woes that's becoming overwhelming or is she starting to feel lonely and wanting someone there. But she did have Aaron, and Aaron was willing to take care of her and the child, even if it was not his. So we go back over there to the law firm, and Hayden gets a phone call from Gary, and he basically nips it in the bud and tells Gary, look, the block is hot. I shouldn't even be on the phone with you. I can get fired. The bosses are on my behind, and you had the FBI all up and through my crib. And Gary was like, well, you wasn't saying all of that when we was getting this money. Hayden told him, that's when I thought your money was legit. So it's a no for me. I'm not doing Fed time for you, Bernie Madoff. So Gary, of course, started calling them names, calling them a little rat. Hayden hung up, basically saying he didn't have time for him, and looked across his desk and said, and I don't have time for you. And I'm like, well, who is he talking to? It's Tamara. She's back and she's apologizing, saying that, yes, she did get hired to get information from him, but she ended up falling for him. She misses him and feels like they can work things out. Hayden admits that he misses her too, so now she's up on his desk with her legs open, with her foot on his chest as he's massaging it. The crazy part about all of this is that the building is in a complete uproar with all these big wigs flying around here. Somebody could walk in at any given moment, and Hayden doesn't seem to give a damn. So we go over there to Andy's office, and Fatima comes in, and now she has to talk Andy off the ledge because she's sitting in there worried and blaming herself for Gary's shenanigans and what's going on in the office. They talk through that, and Fatima asks her about Michael's case, and Andy claims she's working on the case at the moment, but she's clearly distracted. She hasn't gathered up all the information from the arbitrator, but she assures Fatima that everything will work out when it's time for the hearing. So do you guys think that Andy will be prepared for this hearing, or will there be a delay? My guess is there will be a delay, but they won't be totally denied because we do know that they will be looking for a nanny sometime throughout this season. So Fatima brings up Karen's grand opening, asking Andy, is she going? And Andy is reluctant because she's scared, worried about what the partners are going to say or do. And Fatima convinced her like it might be good for her to just get away and get some fresh air for a minute. Plus, Karen would never let her live it down. So she agreed to leave and told Fatima to give her a call if she heard anything. And Fatima told her, make sure you answer your phone. So we go over there to the bank with Sabrina, and Rich comes in there and says he's there to make some deposits. And what she was trying to get him to deposit, he wasn't feeling it. That was the reason he left. So she apologized to him about being drunk and the way it came out. And he said that maybe we should talk about it. And she didn't really want to do that. And he told her he'll be at the juice bar all day if she's looking for him. And old pestering Paige over there with her nose behind talking about, yeah, better his job, Sabrina, than yours. Sabrina, I'm going to need you to go ahead and give Paige a piece of your mind and let her know where her place is, and that's out of your business. So she tells Rich that she'll be by the juice bar when she leaves Karen's grand opening. So we go back over there to Karen's salon, and she's called Trey back over there to pick up all that mess that Pam ordered on her business account. She then let Pam know that she no longer has access to make any purchases on the account, and anything she wants to buy or concoct up, she need to do it with her own damn money. And that is the reason why her payment was late, because when Pam made the order, it deducted from the amount of money that should have been there for her lease payment. So he told her he would have came and packed up all the stuff for free. She just would have had to see him a little longer, but he didn't want her baby daddy trying to slide that in there real quick to come and do nothing to him. And Pam had to let it be known she's single. So he looking at her and they looking at him and everybody gawking over everybody. And he basically, congratulates her on her grand opening, tell her that is dope, and he leaves. But I'm pretty sure Trey'll be back sometime soon. So the girls, they start showing up. They're all late, looking for the other one, barely coming in the door saying, hey, cat dog, how you doing? What you got going on? What can I do for you? But, they all come in there spilling the beans on how hectic their morning was. And Karen was like, look, no, that's not what we're doing. And like she told him, none of y'all came in here to help me do nothing. And then you come in here with all this drama. Like, where's the love? Like, she's not feeling the love. So then they start apologizing. And Danny is the only one says that she has a point and that they need to tighten up. So Karen, being funny, says, well, let me pour y'all some, champagne. Maybe y'all can give me that same energy y'all gave Fatima at the brunch. So she mentioned a picture that someone posted, but she didn't mention that she actually did show up. And she says, no, that's not what this about. And they're convinced that it is. And she tells them they did look happy in that picture. So Sabrina was like, look, we invited you, Karen. And Danny, of course, was like, look, a whole invite, phone call. You cussed me out. You said no. Do you remember that? And then they apologized to her. They told her that they were proud of her. What can they do? Karen was like, look, it's too late for all that. Everything is done. But what you can do is be happy for me, smile, or leave. And she walked off. So we go outside of the salon where Zach pulls up, and he's sitting there with some roses in his hand, rehearsing what he's getting ready to say to Karen about her taking a DNA test so he can get Fatima off his neck. And I'm like, what? That's what you gonna say to her? You know damn well she not gonna do that because Fatima want it done. Like, well, you should be wanting it done for your damn self. He be doing the most. So then all of a sudden, Mama Lisa jumps in Zach's car and basically asks him what he's doing there. And he comes up with something about he's just there to support and he was trying to be nice. And I'm like, well, why didn't Zach mention that he wanted to ask Karen to get the DNA test? Why didn't that even come up? So Mama Lisa, who of course is the MVP of this episode, basically told him, go home, because why are you here? You made it abundantly clear that you moved on and you didn't want her, so there's no need for you to come here with no dozen red roses, smelling all good and stuff. And what you had on, what exactly was your sin of the day when you sprayed it this morning? What were you going for, Zach? Were you trying to be sexy? What was the sin of the day, Slick? Because we love a good smelling man. But anyway, Mama Lisa knew the assignment and she got the job done. Basically telling Zach, look, lines have to be drawn and boundaries set. And you need to go home. Karen needs somebody that's available to support her and bring her flowers, not you. You're being way too nice, and you want to be nice, just text her congratulations or something, but there's no need for you to be here, period. So he basically has a lot of respect for Mama Lisa, so he took heed and he decided to leave. So we go over there to Gary's office, and he has Penelope sitting up in there and basically thanking her for coming to see him so he can apologize or whatever. And she was saying that the flowers and the wine was a nice touch. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, let's push pause. Now, can somebody explain to me why Penelope is 50 months pregnant and Gary is sending her wine to drink? Like, why are you sending her that and she can't drink it? Child, but anyway, so he started talking all this mumbo jumbo about how sorry he is and it won't happen again. He just did it because he was embarrassed, and got her some food from her favorite Vietnamese restaurant she likes to go to. So he's opening it, taking it out the bag, opening the container as he's talking all this fool-la-la and telling her, I need you, I need you. And he dumps it basically intentionally in her lap. And her dress is all soaking wet with the food and whatever. So he sends her down the hallway so she can go and get cleaned up. So when she leaves her purse in the chair. And this fool goes in her purse and takes out her cards and information, her ID, whatever it was he took out, and started taking pictures of them on the desk. He hurried and placed everything back in her wallet and in her purse and sat on the edge of the desk and got himself together waiting for her to come back as if he had done nothing at all. I'm like, this man here is unhinged, off the chain, all of that. Just evil, straight trash, straight up trash. Cheeto is doing a good job playing this role. He is actually the one holding up these last 3 episodes with the drama, because I'm intrigued by what he's going to do next. So we go back over there to the salon, and Karen is actually cutting the ribbon. So she's officially open, and they're inside celebrating. And the ladies are basically thanking Pam for all of her hard work in helping Karen, and, just basically telling her everything looked nice and thanks for being there for Karen, because they all know that Karen has been going through a lot. So Danny mentions that Karen needs therapy, and I feel like all of them need therapy, but I've always said that Danny and Karen, specifically because of the trauma that we've been shown throughout this series. So Karen, she comes over, she knows they're talking about her. She tells Pam to go handle the clients, and Andy gives her a gift from all of the ladies for her grand opening. But she tells her wait to open it later. So Karen, she somewhat apologizes to them for going off, but she does feel like her feelings were valid. And I do think she had a valid point to be a little upset because, yeah, it was her day. And, y'all were late. You didn't text or call, all of that. But anyway, she was like, thank you for showing up to support, unlike some people. So everybody looking around like, who's she talking about? And basically she was like, Zach. And I'm like, see, Karen, that's where you lost me. And this is why the scene with Mama Lisa and Zach was so necessary. And I'm so glad she intervened and sent Zach ass home. So Andy, she gets a phone call from Fatima telling her she needs to hurry up and get back to work because she's hearing her name being said. And Andy went back and told Karen she's having a work emergency, so she had to leave. So we see Sabrina. She goes over to fuel the juice bar. I guess Rich owns this. And they greet each other and they have a seat so they can have this discussion about what happened the night before. So both of them express how much they like each other. I think Rich really does like Sabrina a lot. He says he hasn't felt this way about anyone in quite a while. And he tells her about all the siblings he have, how he's the oldest, and he basically had to take care of them and raise them. So it's like he's already had kids in a sense. So he's kind of enjoying where he is right at this moment with his freedom. And she tells him how much she's wanted to be a mom since she was a little girl. So they basically kind of don't stand on business because both of them give in to say they are going to give it a try and see where it leads them later on down the line. Now, Sabrina did say they can't get mad when they get there and things are not how they want them to be, because you're sacrificing wanting to have kids. And like she said, she may regret it because she may be wasting her time knowing this man does not want kids. So you never know. Rich may just fall in love and want to have a child with her. So they'll just have to see how it goes. But neither one of them stood their ground. They kind of gave in. So hopefully there's not a lot of resentment when 2 and 3 years have passed and somebody's not getting what they want. So we go over there to Zach and Fatima's, and he's coming in the house with the doggone roses in his hand. Why? I don't know. And Fatima is actually in the house, and he's shocked that she's there, asking her, what are you doing here? So she tells him that she came home to get some flats because it's a lot going on at the office. She tells him about Gary being investigated by the FBI. So she sees the roses and she automatically thinks that they are for her. And he tells her the truth and says that they were for Karen for her grand opening. Now Fatima's whole demeanor changes from a smile to a frown, and she's looking like, well, what's up with that? And I'm glad that he told her the truth. I just can't understand why he had to bring the roses home. So he tried to explain that he went there early so nobody could take a picture and send it to Angela. So she questioned, like, you really went there on the day of her grand opening? And he was like, well, our hearing is right around the corner. Basically, I guess he was saying he was trying to get it over with. So she wanted to know why he didn't mention it to her. He says he was trying to handle it on his own. She was asking him, so you did all that with roses? And he claims he was trying to soften the blow because he already don't want to do it. And she said, you already don't want to do what? So it's interesting that deep down, Zach really does not want a DNA test from Karen. That he really thinks that this child is his 100%, knowing that Aaron was in the picture at the same damn time. And I don't understand that. Why is he so adamant about it? So he says that he knows that Karen is going to be mad. And Fatima was like, she's always mad. So, okay, Ann. So then he sat there and lied to her because he said that he was trying to avoid the drama and keep Fatima out of it. But then when he was rehearsing his little lines in front of the salon, he said that, can you get this DNA for me so I can get Fatima off my neck? And that would basically get the heat off of him with Karen because he really doesn't want to do it in the first place. So then he told Fatima that he didn't get a chance to ask Karen because Mama Lisa rolled up on him and made him leave because she felt like he was confusing Karen. And Fatima was like, yeah, because she saw these ugly ass flowers. And he was like, well, you didn't think they was ugly when you thought they were for you. Well, facts. But hey, that's besides the point. So Zach came up with the whole thing, how he didn't explain to Karen a dozen times how there's nothing going on. And Fatima was like, yeah, because you and Karen both say one thing, but your actions show something totally different. So she tells him that him and Karen need boundaries. She can't take too much more of this. It's too much. And he says, again, that Karen is his child's mother. Fatima says, we don't know that yet. You haven't taken the test. He claims he'll go ahead and ask her. And Fatima told him, when you go back, make sure you're empty-handed. So they basically kind of make up. They don't really fight anymore. And she leaves to go back to work. So when Fatima leaves, Zach then calls Gary. But we never find out why because Gary doesn't answer the phone. And Zach says he can't seem to catch a break. Now, this is going to be quite interesting to know what kind of dealings that Zach have with Gary, because the last time I saw them two interact, Zach wanted absolutely nothing to do with him. So we go over there to Gary's office, and he's in there talking to Hudson, and he's hotter than fish grease because Hayden and Andy won't take his phone calls. So Hudson wanted to know, was Andy going to be a problem? Gary said that he was going to handle her and said that Jordan, or one of Andy's other exes, he believes probably was the one that dropped a dime on him with the FBI. So Hudson, he finally clacked up on the computer, said he was done. Gary now has access to all of Penelope's accounts, and her insurance policy has been updated. So it sounds like Gary is plotting and planning something real sinister against Penelope just to get this life insurance money. This man is trash. So Andy, when she gets back to work, her and Fatima are trying to go over what she's going to say. And she says she's going to tell the truth. They're trying to come up with some kind of cockamamie story. So they're trying to call Hayden. He doesn't answer the phone, says he can't talk because he's pretending to work. And he texts them back saying, be careful because Leland said your name like 3 times. Then we see Mr. Leland walking past the office. She tells Fatima to get him. When he comes in the office and she's trying to talk to him and he's like, I know all about you and your boyfriend, Gary. I've done my research. He just started going off on her, talking about her sleazy ways and how she's left the company in a vulnerable state. And Andy is standing there like, look, I'm like one of the best in this building. And he's like, it's not about your skill set. It's the respect I have for this and that. And he's hyperventilating. He's starting to lose his breath. And all of a sudden you see him, going like he's having a heart attack or something. And actually that is where the episode ends. Woo, child. It was a lot going on this episode. That doggone Gary is off the chain. For real, for real. Shout out to Mama Lisa, MVP of the episode. She knew the assignment and did what needed to be done. We have 2 writers on this week's episode. We have Richard Byrd Wilson and Lucien Christian Adderley. So drop down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts were on episode 3. As always, you guys, thank you for all of your support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll catch you on the next one.